यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नाम गोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वन्नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रणितपरब्रह्म तत्त्वं विवानं वरिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणेरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मारामं मृतवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकार्यगतके शान्ताय नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घर्वगे योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिगां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मनि अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। मोकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरं मातामहौ मातरं च पितरं च पितामहौ मातुलं च गुरून् सर्वान् वन्देऽहं ज्ञानसिद्धये। पीताम्बरं करविराजितशङ्खचक्रकौमोदगीसरसिं करुणा समुद्रं राधासहायवति सुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशमनिशं हृदि भावयामि। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम। हर नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव। Narada's Bhakti Sutra, we saw that Narada had defined Bhakti as Sa Bhakti Ya Parama Prema Rupa, that which is of the pure form of love. No constraints, no conditions. That which is pure love is Bhakti. There are also other definitions for Bhakti by Vyasa, Garga, and Shandilya. Narada gives it in his Bhakti Sutra. Then he says, gives a description. Tadarpita akhilacharata tad vismarane paramavyakulateti. What is Bhakti? Tadarpita akhila acharata. Achara means anything that we do is achara. A karma, something that relates to our character or actions is achara. Acharati iti acharaha. Charana is some kind of action. Any action that you do is achara. If it is good action, it is called Shishtachara. If you are following the path of Shishtas, good people. If it is bad achara, if it is not working, then it is called Dushta achara. But any action is generally called as achara. Tadarpita akhila acharata. Tat here refers to God. All your actions are surrendered to Him completely. Akhila means everything. Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. Vismarana is to forget Him. When you forget Him, there is this vyakula. Vyakula means a sense of not being satisfied, a sense of being unfulfilled, sense of not being complete, where you are always jittery. There's something you want, that is that vyakula. You are not at peace with what is there. So whenever you forget Bhagavan, that is the state of the devotee. Tad vismarane paramavyakulata. Paramavyakulata. For one moment you cannot be separated from him. That is by mind also. When that mind stops thinking about Bhagavan, the highest devotee has that pangs of separation piercing. So the definition seems very nice. Then Narada goes on to say that there are examples for such devotees. And the first example he takes is Vraje Gopyaha. The gopis in Vraja were such devotees. The gopis of Vraja have been worshipped, have been seen to be the most ideal devotees by all great Mahatmas. They are the inspirations for great devotees like Meera. Any devotee worth his salt would get inspiration, would have gopis as his ideal, as their ideal. Swami Vivekananda, when talking about gopis, he says, they are the form of mad love, that which has no constraints, that which is the most ideal, pure form of love, where nothing can bind them. Those whose minds are the most pure will be able to understand that love of the gopis. The Bhagavata is being expounded by Bhagavan Shuka. He is the most detached person, and he is the son of Vyasadeva. He is reciting this Rasalila. He says, even Shuka in Bhagavata, he says, those who are completely in the Virakta mode, those who are absolutely detached, those who are of the purest mind, only they will understand the devotion of the gopis. For those of us who are in this material world, who have some wants and desires, and whose minds are kalushita, they are with some kind of dirt, they have been maligned. We will not be able to understand the pureness of that devotion. The whole Vivekananda again says the whole Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's life. It is duty for duty's sake, work for work's sake, war for war's sake, and love for love's sake. Tato yuddhaya yudyasva naivam papamavapsyasi. It is that highest form of ideal love that is expressed in these 5 Dashakams as Rasa Panchaka. Same Rasa Panchakam is there in the Bhagavata from Adhyayas 29 to 23 of the Dashamaskandha. The same 5 Dashakams have been condensed here by Bhattakri in Dashakam 65 to 69. Gopi Janaya Kathitan Niyamavasane Marotsavan Tvamatha Sadhayitum Pravrittaha Sandrena Chandra Mahasa Shiri Kritaye Prabhurayo Muralikam Yamuna Vanante. Previously, we saw in Dashakam 60 that Krishna had promised the gopis that we will meet later. The gopis were performing the Katyayani Vrata. So that is the Niyama. Niyamavasane, at the end of the Niyama of the Katyayani Vrata, Marotsavam tavata sadhayitum pravrittaha. The festival of Mara. Mara means Manmatha. So you began to do the acharan of Marotsava. You wanted to fulfill that vows that gopis had taken. Sandrena Chandra Mahasa Shishiri Kritashaha. The beautiful, bright, full moon was shining in the sky. Prabhurayo Muraligamya Muna Vanante. And you started playing a beautiful flute. It just filled the air across Vrindavan. Everywhere, the air was filled with the beautiful music that emanated from your flute. Samurchana Pirvitaswaramandalabihi Samuchayantamakhilam Bhuvanantaralam Venunada Mubakarnya Vibho Tarunya Tatadrisham Kamapi Chitta Vimohamapu Samurchanabihi. Murchana means the Saptaswaras, when they are in the form of the Arohana, Navarohana, they are called as Murchana. That is one of the connotations of the word Murchana. So in the first line, the word Samurchana refers to the Saptaswaras. Udita Swaramandalabihi. The way you played the flute with the Saptaswaras going up and down, very pleasant to hear, and each of those notes were emerging very clearly. Samurchayanta Makhilam Bhuvanantaralam. And because of those wonderful notes that were emanating, the whole of the surrounding, the whole of the world was engulfed in that, was captivated by that music. So, all the girls, all the in Vrindavana heard this Venunada, Tattadrisham Chitta Vimohamapu. Some kind of indescribable captivation got over them. The flute was heard by all the women folk, and only they came because their minds are the ones that are in the right position to capture, to be captured by the grace of this flute, the melody of the flute. Tadvenunada upakarnya vibho tarunyah tattadrisham keva chitta vimohamapuhu. So they were the ones who were captivated. All of them are not yet adhikari. They have not come to the level where they can be captured by this grace of the Lord. Tageha kritya niratas prasaktaha kantopasevana parascha saroruhakshiyaha sarvam visujya muraliravamohitaste kantaradeshamayi kantatano sametaha. Okay, they just, as soon as they heard this flute, the melodious flute, they just stopped working. Whatever household chores they were doing, some were doing some household chores, others were feeding their children or taking care of their children. Some of the others were taking care of their husbands and other people in the family. Sarvam visujya, they just whatever position they were doing, they just left it at that moment. As soon as they heard this melodious flute, Kantara Deshami Kantatano Sametaha. Kantara Desha means they all went into the forest, captivated by the music of that flute. Kachinijanga Paribhushanamada Venu Pranadam Upakaranya Kritartha Bhusha Tvamagata Nanu Tathaiva Vibhushitapyaha Taeva Samduruchire Tabalochanaya. So some of them were just making, they were putting makeup, they were putting ornaments in the neck and hips and everywhere. They were just ornamenting themselves. While doing their makeup, they heard the Venunada, they heard the flute. And immediately, half a door they just left from there. Krita Artha Bhushaha. Swamagatana, they all immediately came there. Tathaiva Vibhushitapyaha. Just half a door, whatever they had put on, something on the heads of one earring, one lady had worn just one earring, she just came there like that. Others, nose ring was just half hanging. Something like this, each one of them, they just left it at that moment and they all rushed towards that place. That is the intensity of the devotion. When the Lord wills, there is nothing else that can keep you back. So this is where, when Bhagavad Gita says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, this is the dharma that is being called out here. When you are absolutely surrendered to the Lord, no other dharma can bind you. No other worldly dharma shastras that might be there. Everything else that is intended, everything is cast away. So that is why that is the final Upadesha of Bhagavan in the Gita. Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja is completely applicable to the gopis here. Where no other dharma, no other Laukika dharma, Vedika dharma, no other discipline can bind them. When the Lord is your only place for surrendering, when everything is given up, then nothing else can bind you. You cannot say, oh, how can they leave that dharma? How can they not do this? How can they go away like this? There is no other dharma that can bind them. When they are completely surrendered to the Lord, and that is the only place where they are going to take shelter, no other dharma will bind them. That's why Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Then Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. I will relieve you of all the sins and I will give you moksha, says Bhagavan. For who is that? Machittaha Madgata Pranaha. Those who are always in the Lord. For them it is like that. That is the intensity of devotion, that they did not wish to stay there for one more moment. Whatever they're doing, they just drop it at that moment and they rush. Because that is, even one moment of delay, one moment of separation from Bhagavan is too much for them to bear. Tad vismarane parama vyakulata. And they were more attracted to the Lord rather than to their own appearance. When you you want to make your appearance better and better, you go to a particular place, you want other people to see you. What they are offering to the Lord is their whole manas. That the Lord is already, He knows that devotion. So they do not have to put that external makeup. Haram nikamba bhuvi kachana dharayanti kanchincha kantha bhuvi deva samagatatvam. So one girl, she, whatever had to be put on her neck, the necklace, she put it on her waist. And the other, whatever she had to put on her waist, the adornment for the waist, she put it on the neck. Kanchincha kantha bhuvi deva samagatatvam. So here, Anantarama Dikshidhar, he used to make a funny statement. He used to say, so the ladies can give up anything. They stop feeding their children, they stop taking care of their husbands, and they rushed away from the household chores and they went to Bhagavan instantly. But only this ornaments, instead of completely giving them up, they put it up. Wherever they did not to be put, they put it in that place. So instead of, she wanted to wear the necklace, but unknowingly she wore it on the hip. Similarly, instead of wearing the ornament for the hip, she wore it on the neck. So they cannot give up the ornaments even here. That is just a jovial comment in between. But they had given up absolutely everything. So how did it feel? Here Bhattatri has his own imagination. Haritvamatma jaganasya mukunda tubhyam vyaktam babhasha iva mukhamukhi visheshat. So the way she, instead of putting the necklace, she had worn it on her hips. It seemed as if she wanted to emphasize on the attractiveness of her hips to Bhagavan. So she was going towards Bhagavan to show that she has very attractive hips. She wore the necklace on her hips instead of her kantha. So the word haritvam has two meanings here. Haritvam atma jaganasya. Hara means necklace. So on the jagana, on her hips, she is wearing the hara. So it becomes, the jagana becomes hari. It is the one that is wearing the hara. Also, haritvam means attractive. One which attracts is called hari. So the hips which is wearing the necklace becomes hari, becomes attractive to Bhagavan. Kachit tuche pudarasajjita kanchulika vyamohataha paravadhubhiralakshyamanam twamayayu nirupama pranayati bhara rajyabhisheka vidhage kalashidhareva. Another woman, she forgot to wear her uttariya, she forgot to wear her uttavastra and she just rushed out. She seemed like she was carrying the couple of kumbhas for doing Rajyabhisheka to Krishna himself in the kingdom of love, in the kingdom of Manmatha. She wanted to do Abhisheka to Bhagavan. She came running forgetting her upper garments absolutely. Kaschit grihat kiraniretum apadayantyah tvameva deva hridaye sudritham vibhavyam deham vidhuya parachit sukharupamekam tvamavishan paramimananudhanya dhanyaha. So some of them were forcefully held back at their home. They could not leave their homes and come out. Probably their husbands locked the door or somebody held them back. Similar to how it happened in Yajnapatni Anugraha, where one of the Yajnapatnis was not allowed to come. Her husband held her hand and kept her back at home. And she gave up her body thinking of Bhagavan. Similarly here, thinking of Krishna, some of the women who could not come directly and see Krishna, they gave up their body thinking of the Lord himself. Deham vidhuya parachit sukhameka rupam. Thinking of the Lord in his Sukha Swarupa, that Paramananda Swarupa, the Sandrananda Swarupa, Vama Vishan, they became one with you. These other gopis, they have a physical union now, and then later they will get the union with the Parabrahman. Now, Vama Vishan, immediately they had Videha Mukti, Paramimananudhanya Dhanyaha, weren't they the most fortunate of everyone? Charatmanana paramatmataya smarantyaha naryogata paramahamsagatim kshanena tandvam prakasha paramatvatanum kathanchit chitte vahan amritamashamamashtuviya. These women, they did not think of you as Paramatma. Paramatmataya nasmarantyaha. They do not think that you are the great, omnipresent, omniscient. That is not their bhava when they are coming and approaching you. They know that. They know that you are the omnipresent, omniscient Lord. But now when they are approaching you, that is not their bhava. The bhava of approaching you is jaratmana. Jara means parama. Like you are a mistress. They are like the mistresses for Krishna. That is the bhava with which they are approaching. Nevertheless, Naryogataha Paramahamsagatim Kshanena. In one moment, they all became Paramahamsas. Hamsas are the ones that can remove milk from water, that can separate milk and water as a Hamsa. Parahamsas are those sannyasis who by discrimination can discriminate between the temporary and the eternal. They can see what is eternal and let go all the temporary things in this world. They are Paramahamsas, those who are detached. All these women became completely detached. They all became Paramahamsas. They attained that absolute jnana at that moment. Because whatever bhava you have towards Bhagavan, he will give you anugraha in that same bhava. So here Bhattatri says, Jaratmanana Paramatmataya Smarantyaha. There are two sides to this interpretation. The word Jara means paramority. In Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada says, when as soon as he took the example of the gopis, in the succeeding sutra, he says that they did not approach Bhagavan as Jara. Whereas here Bhattatri says they approached Bhagavan as Jara. There, the idea of Narada is that when you approach a person like a Jara, what happens is you are succumbing only to the carnal desires. There is nothing more to it. It is just because your pleasures are not satisfied and you just go and you want to do something. So without any thinking for dharma, without any moral obligation, you are just going there. So that is the idea with which Narada said the gopis did not approach Krishna with the attitude of a Jara. That means they do not, it is not just a carnal desire. They do know that Bhagavan is Paramatma. They do know that he is omniscient and omnipresent. They know the Mahatvam in him. They know that he is the Lord. And with that in mind, they approach him with the bhava of Jara. So here the other side of the coin, when Bhattatri says, and many other devotees also sing, Jara Chora Shikhamani, they sing, there it means they are not bound by any dharma. Where we say Sarvadharman Parityajya, they are completely surrendering to the Lord. It does not matter, nothing else in this world matters to them. That is the idea with which the word Jaratmana has been used here. Jaratmana Paramatmadaya Smarantyaha Naryo Gata Paramahamsa Gatim Kshanena Tantvam Prakasha Paramatmatam Kathanchit. That kind of Prakasha Tanu, that effulgent Rupa that you have, may I also have that darshana, may I also get one drop of that devotion. Praise Bhattatri. Chitte vahan amritam ashramam ashnoviyam. By meditating on you, on Bhagavan, O Guru Vairappa, by meditating on you, let me have one small drop of that. Without any shrama, let me get that great Paramatma Sukha. Without, very easily, without difficulty, let me get that Paramatma Sukha. Abhyagatabhiravito Vrajasundaribihi Muktasmita Karuna Baloki. Seeing all of them having assembled there, he just gave a nice smile, Muktasmita, a gentle smile, Karuna Baloki, and with those eyes of compassion, he looked at all of them. Nisima Kanti Jaladhistamavekshyamanah Vishvaika Harame Pavane Sharogan. That you are the ocean of that boundless splendor, that beautiful splendor that is there, and that face also was lit up with a charming smile. He looked all around, everywhere, all around him are these women standing from Braja, and that non-dual Advaita Purusha of Guru Vairappa, may you eradicate all my ailments. Praise Bhattatri. This is the only Dashakam which has only 9 verses. All other Dashakams have either 10 or more verses. The 65th Dashakam is the only Dashakam that has one less verse, 9 verses only. Moving on to 66. Ubayatanam Sudrisham Kusuma Yuthabana Pata Vivashanam Abhivanchitam Vidhatum Kritamadilapita Jagathabamamibam. So all of them had come there. Sudrisha means those who have beautiful eyes, referring to the women who had assembled there. They all come there. Kusuma Yuthabana Mata Vivashana. Kusuma Yutha means the person with the arrows like flowers which are arrows for him. So that is Manmatha. Manmatha has pierced them. Therefore, they are all Vivasha. They are stricken with love. They do not know what to do. Abhivanchitam Vidhatum. To give whatever they desired, Kritamatirapi Ta Jagatha Bhamavilam. Even though Bhagavan Krishna knew what they desired, he spoke in an opposite manner to them, as if he did not know what they wanted, and in an unfavorable manner, he started speaking towards them, as if he did not want them to be there. Something like that, he started speaking. Gaganagatam muninivaham shravagitum janithagravathu dharmam dharmyam khalute vachanam karmatuno nirmadasya vishwasyam. In the Gagana, in the Akasha, the sky, all the Munis were standing, great Rishis were standing there, as if giving Upadesha to them. Because they are standing there, Bhagavan wanted to talk about some Shastras. So he spoke. He spoke about how a Kulavadhu should be, how a Pativrata should be. He started speaking to them like that. Dharmyam khalute vachanam. Whatever Krishna's Upadeshas are there, all of that is dharma. Te vachanam dharmyam. Whatever Upadesha of Krishna is there, that is moral, that is to be followed, that has to be followed by everyone. Karma tuno nirmalasya vishwasyam. Whatever his actions, that cannot be trusted upon. We cannot follow the actions of Krishna. We can only follow the Upadesha, the advice that is being given by Krishna. That is, Bhattatri gives this beautiful line here, which Shubha also at the end of Rasalila, when Parikshit questions him, he says the same thing. Says, whatever great people do, that a small person, a person with less power, will not be able to do the same thing. He gives an example, Yatha Rudraha Abhijam Visham. Bhagavan Shiva, he drank the poison. That does not mean you also will be able to drink the poison. So if Krishna is able to sport with all the women, that does not mean you also can sport with all the women. If you are able to lift the Govardhana, then you can do this also. So their actions, the actions of great Mahatmas, Avatara Purushas especially, is beyond the whatever we can conceive of. It is beyond whatever we can do. So their actions cannot always be followed, but their Upadesha must be followed. That is what this line impresses upon us. Dharmyam khalute vachanam karmatuno nirmadasya vishwasyam. You are nirmada, you are absolutely pure. No action or the fruit of action cannot attach to you. You are completely detached. Krishna is Anadi Brahmacharine Namaha. Is a Ashtotra Shatanamavali for him. He is Anadi Brahmachari. There is no attachment at all. It is like when you pour water on the leaf of a lotus, just goes away. Nothing can stick to it. Like that Atma Swarupa, Bhagavan, who is Parasukhachit Swarupa, he is like that. But all of us cannot do the same actions. We cannot follow his actions. We can only follow his advice. Because he is ever pure. He does not have the ego. We are all identified with this ego of I and my. Once the ego moves away, then none of the actions stick to you. Nayam hanti nahanyate. He is neither the killer nor is he the killed. That is once the ego has been washed away, that happens. Nayam hanti nahanyate. Agarnyate pratipam vani veni drisha parandinaha mama karuna sindho parityajetyajiram vile pustaha. Listening to these unfavorable words from Krishna, pratipam vani. Pratipa means whatever they want to hear, something against that they are listening. Edi drisha. Edi means a fawn, the child of a deer. Young deer is called Edi. Edi Dishaha. These are all doe-eyed women. They became Dina, they became very grief-stricken. Mama Karuna Sindhu, oh ocean of compassion, do not forsake us like this. Ma Parityajeti Atichiram Vile Pusta. For a long time they wept again and again. Tasam Ruditayir Labitaihi Karuna Kulamanaso Muraretvam. Listening to their heart being filled with so much grief and their weeping, and therefore with so much compassion. Tabhis samam pravrittaha Yamuna Pulineshu kamam abhirantum. Along with them, pravrittaha, you began sporting on the banks of Yamuna as you like. Chandrakara Syandala Sat Sundara Yamuna Tatanta Vithishu Gopi Janottariyehi Apadita Samstaronya. So there on the banks of Yamuna, where under the moonlight, Chandrakaras Yandalasat, the full moon is shining there, and therefore there is a beautiful bank, Yamuna Tatanta Vithishu. All of the gopis, they all put their uttariyas down and made it like a bed. On that bed, happily Krishna laid down on that bed. Sumadhura Narmalapanaihi Karasangrahanischa Chumbanolasaihi Gadha Lingana Sankihi Tvamangana Lokamakuli Chakrishe. So he started talking with them happily and very intensely. He started talking with them. Sweet and playfully, he was talking with them, holding their hands, walking around, sitting close to them, embracing them, kissing them, and so on. Each of them, everything he started as sportfully playing with them. Vaso haranadine yad vaso haranam pratishrutam dasam tadapi vibho rasa vivashasvantanam kanta subhruva madatha. Vaso haranadine. On the day when you did the Gopika Vastra Paharana, whatever promise you had given to them, Pratishrutam means the promise, the vow that you had made to them. What is the vow that you had made? Yet Vasoharanam Pratishrutam. You had promised them that you would take away their clothes again. Tadapi vipo rasa vivashas swantanam kanta subhruva madatha. Those with those beautiful eyebrows, to them, that is, these women, they were immersed in that rasa. To them, you gave even that kind of an Ashirvada. That is taking away their clothes. The literal meaning is just pulling away their clothes. The inner meaning here is that he is removing that ego of I-ness and mine-ness. Both that ego he is removing. This is exactly like in Bhagavad Gita again. Vasamsi kirnani yatha vihaya Navani Grimnati Naroparani. This body itself is a cloth. So there, the body and clothes, both there is an analogy. This body itself is clothes. You are removing the attachment to this body. That is what Krishna is doing here. We will see how he is going to remove the attachment to the body. This Leela itself is completely to remove their attachment. Any remnant of ego that they have, he is removing them. So now he is carrying out the promise that he made to them on that day. Kandalita Dharmadesham Kunda Mridusmera Bhaktra Pathojam Nanda Sutatvam Trijagat Sundara Upagukya Nandita Balaha. So Krishna's face is like a beautiful jasmine bud, and it is so soft. On that face, drops of sweats are just pouring down because of little heat that is there. So all the perspiration that is just coming out, Kunda Mridus Mera Vaktra Pathojam, and all those, it is sprouting, the perspiration is sprouting, and the drops of sweat are coming down, and all the women who are close to him, they embrace him and they experience intense bliss. Nandidaha Balaha Girahe Shvangaramayaha Shringaramagascha Sangame Hitvam Nitara Mangaramayaha Tatrapuna Sangame Vichitramidam. Again, a play of words by Bhattatri. Angara means coal. Viraheshu Angaramayaha. When there is separation from Krishna, there is immense burning like that of a charcoal. So you put charcoal in the fire and you take it out, there is intense burning. You cannot touch that. So like that, viraha means separation. Whenever you are separated from Krishna, it is like Angaramayaha. Shringaramaya Sangami. When there is union with you, becomes a complete, there is a blissful experience that is there. The experience of Shringara that is there, when there is union. But when there is separation, there is this charcoal-like burning that is there. But Nitara Angaramayaha. So in the second word, second line, when we say Angaramayaha, it has to be separated as Anga Aramayaha. Tatra Puna Sangamepi Chitramidam. So there in this, for the Gopikas, in that union itself, you were Angaramaya. That is, Aramayaha, you made them feel that bliss, that supreme bliss of union with you, you made them feel. Anga means calling out to Bhagavan. Hey Anga, Tvam Tan Aramayaha. You made them feel that supreme bliss. You delighted them so much. You are absolutely one with them. Radha Tunga Payodhara Sadhu Parirambhalolupatmanam Aradhaye Bhavantam Pavanapuradhisha Shamaya Sakalagadan. Pavanapuradhisha, O Lord of Guruvayur, I have been worshipping you for so long. Aradhaye Bhavantam. Bhattatri is saying to him, Shamaya Sakalagadan. You please take out all my ailments. How is this Bhagavan? How is this Guruvayurappan? In the Dhyara Shloka we say, Vidambaram Kharavirajita Shankachakra Kaumodaki Sarasijam Karuna Sahayam Radha Sahayam. That is there. Atisundara Mandahasa. He is Radha Sahaya. He is always with Radha. That is the shloka here. Radha Tunga Payodhara Sadhu Parirambha Lolupatmanam. When you tightly embrace Radha, you are longing for the embrace of Radha. That Radha is longing for your embrace is also there. But you are embracing for union with your Bhakta. One who is your closest Bhakta, you are always wanting to be with them. You are looking for that long and tight embrace from Radha. That Guruvayurappan, please eradicate all my ailments. Spuratpararandara-satmakena tvaya samasadita bhogalilaha asimam-ananda-bharam prapannaha mahantamapurmadamambujakshyaha. Ambujakshyaha, those women who are lotus-eyed, see each place, Bhattatri, to refer to those women, to refer to those gopis, he uses a different adjective. Edi Drishaha, Ambujakshaha, Sarasiruhakshaha. There's so many different words for gopis. He beautifully weaves them into his poetry. They had all experienced infinite bliss. Pararanda rasattvagena tvaya samasadita bhogalila. As they were sporting with you and they were enjoying with you, they had extreme, infinite bliss. Asima Ananda Bharam Prapannaha. There was no limit to their bliss at all. It's not like there is a border. Asima Ananda Bharam Prapannaha Mahanta Mapu. Great. You yourself are the embodiment of that Satchidananda Swarupa, that bliss consciousness. And when they were in union with you, they were in limitless bliss. Niriyate so Magimayyamayam Ramabadir Vishwavano Idisma Sarva Kalita Bhimanaha Irikshya Govinda Tirohito. Each gopi, she thought that Krishna has become mine. And now that Krishna has become mine, he is so infatuated with me that he probably has forgotten Lakshmi herself. This Lord of Lakshmi, who captivates the whole of the universe, he is really infatuated with me. They started thinking that because of their Sharira, Krishna has become infatuated with them. Mayyamayam Ramavatihi. He is the consort of Lakshmi. Vishwamanobhiramaha. He captivates the whole of the universe. Everybody in the universe he captivates. But it's Mayyamayam. Itisma sarvaha kalitabhimana. In everyone, this kind of an ego arose within themselves that they have captured Krishna. And as soon as Krishna saw this ego arising with them, he disappeared. At that instant, he completely disappeared. This is how he is going to remove the ego of these gopis. Tirohito bhu. Even for a great devotee, the pride is an extremely durguna that is very difficult to cast away. Even after doing great karma, great punya, and being a great devotee, this kind of an emotion will come up saying, I am the greatest devotee. Can there be any greater devotee than me? Can there be anyone closer to Bhagavan than me? Then you are still having a separation between you and Bhagavan, saying, I am separate, Bhagavan is separate. and I am a devotee, there is nobody else greater than me. This is a problem that arises even for the greatest devotees. This is a serious defect. Therefore, to remove this defect completely and to go to the highest level of that union, the Lord immediately disappeared right there to humble this pride of the gopis. Radha vidhantavadajata garva matipriya gopavadhum murare bhavanubadaya gato viduram taya sahasvaira viharakarim. So he disappeared from everyone, but he took only one person along with him. Who? He took along Radha along with him. Ajata Garva. Why did he take only Radha? Because she did not have any Garva at all. That Garva had not sprouted within her. That he has become mine. That Garva had not come within her. Therefore, she is Adhipriya. She is the most loved by Krishna because she is Ajata Garva. Bhavanubadaya gato viduram. You took her and went far away into the forest. Svaira viharakari. That at will, as you desired, you were sporting with her. So here, there's the later Puranas are the one that talk about Radha, the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, and later we have in the Bhakta Gitas, we have the reference to Radha. And similarly, Bhattatri also refers to Radha. But in the Bhagavata, in the Mula, there is no reference to Radha. So how did this word Radha come about? There is a theory which the Mahatmas have said that the word Radha as such does not appear in the Bhagavata. She is only referred to as some Gopika. Krishna disappeared from all of them and he went alone with one single Gopika. But there is one verse in the Bhagavata which probably Mahatma says that is where the word Radha could have been taken by the later poets. Anaya Rathito Nunam Bhagavan Harishwaraha Yenno Vihaya Govindaha Prito Yamanayatraha. In the Dashakam in the 30th Adhyaya, when the gopis, they are talking within themselves. Those gopis who Krishna has left, they talk within themselves and say, this fellow has gone with a single woman. Probably she has done a great aradhana of Bhagavan. Some special aradhana she has done, which that kind of a devotion we have not done. Anaya aradhito nunam Bhagavan harihi ishvaraha. Certainly she has done some devotion to Bhagavan. Therefore he has discarded us. No vihaya govindaha pritoya manayathaha. He has secretly, discreetly taken her away from us, and with only her he is enjoying. That is what they speak within themselves. So that first word which we have as Anaya Radhitaha, from that we see Anaya Aradhitaha in the split. But Radha, the word there, probably it came from there, is the theory that many Mahatmas expound. But otherwise, only in the later Puranas and poets we get the word Radha. There is no reference in the Mula, neither in the Mahabharata nor in Harivamsha nor in Bhagavatam. We get the reference to Radha. But Bhattatri accepts the existence of Radha. Later again, he will refer to her in 2 more places later. Tirohite sattagijatatapaha samam sametah kamalayatakshyah vane vane tvam parimargayantyah vishadamapur bhagavannaparam. So as soon as Bhagavan, Sri Krishna disappeared from in front of them, they became extremely, the fire started burning with them. Jatat abaha, the pangs of separation from him. Kamalagatakshiha, vane vane tvam parimargyate. They went to this forest, that forest, from here and there, and they are searching for Krishna. Vishadamapu, unbearable sorrow, they all felt. Aparam, limitless. You cannot put a limit on that sorrow that they felt. That amount of sorrow they are feeling at not finding Sri Krishna. And they are going to each tree and they are asking, Hajuta hajam bhagakarnikara hamallike malati bhagavaliyah kim vikshito no hridayi kachoraha ityadi dasvat pravana vilepuhum. These women who were completely devoted to Bhagavan, they had given up everything for Krishna, they lamented. They went from this tree to that tree. They asked the flowers and creepers, O Chuta, O Champaka, O Karnikara, O Mallika, O Malati, O Balavalya. Each one they are calling out. Just like Sri Rama, we see in Aranyakanda when he loses Sita, when Sita is kidnapped, he goes to each tree and asks, Similarly, here, all the gopikas are pining for Bhagavan. They do not know what to do. That is the amount of surrendering they have done to Bhagavan, that they are just asking nature, where is he gone? So this again relates to the Narada Bhakti Sutra, that Vismarane Parama Vyakulata. Then there's a separation from him, there's a Parama Vyakulata. You cannot, that it just starts burning. You cannot stay away from him for one moment. That fellow who has stolen our hearts, no hridayika choraha. If he had stolen something else, it's okay. He has stolen our hearts and gone away. Have you seen him? Have you seen him? They asked the trees. And so on, they are going on and on. Nirikshitoyam saki pankajakshaha puro mametyakulamaalapanti Swambhavana chakshushi vikshya kajit tapam sakhinam dviguni chakara. One of these women, she suddenly started having the bhava vesha, and she saw Krishna in her bhava. In her own mind, she started imagining Krishna. She saw him there, and in her, as soon as she imagined him with excitement, she called out to others and said, "Oh, I saw the lotus-eyed one. I saw Krishna. I just saw him now, right before me. I saw him." And after some time, they understood that in her bhava mandala she has seen, in her imagination she has seen Krishna right in front of her, and they thought he was right in front of them, and they realized that he is not there, and therefore their tapa, that separation, that grief, it just doubled over. Dviguni chakara. Because of her experience, all other friends, all other sakhis, their grief doubled over. Tvadatmikasta yamuna tatante tabanuchakruh kila cheshtitani vichitya bhuyo mitathaiva manate tvaya vimuktam tadrushuscha radham. Tvadatmikasta, they became one with you. Their manas became one with you. Their manas is only in you. Their minds are completely in you. And they're going about on the banks of Yamuna. And they started doing all their chestitas. In Bhagavata, it explained in a few shlokas, all the Bala-leelas starting from his young age, whatever Krishna used to do, like stealing of the butter, Shakatasura-vadha, Bhutara Moksha, Aghasura-vadha, each one they started enacting all this. So one Gopi used to say, "I am Aghasura." The other Gopi used to say, "I am Krishna." And they used to come and enact that whole scene. Other says, "I am Bakasura." And another says, "I am Krishna." And they enact that scene of Bakasura-vadha. Similarly, they enact the scene of churning the butter or stealing the butter and playing with his friends on the banks of Yamuna. All this they started enacting within themselves. This is exactly what is meant by the shloka of in Bhagavad Gita, Manchittaha, Madgata Pranaha, Bodhayantah Parasparam. Even in the Viraha of Krishna, what are they talking about? Talking only about Krishna. Manchittaha, the first word here, Tvadatmikaha, means those whose minds are only in Bhagavan. Madgata Pranaha, their prana, their life itself is dependent on Bhagavan. Bodhayantah Parasparam, when Bhagavan is not there, they're talking about Bhagavan to each other. They're talking about Sri Krishna Leela to each other. They're enacting that. Kathayantascha mam nityam. That is the only katha that they have. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. And by doing that, they get pleasure out of that. They get happiness out of that. And all these gopikas are enacting all those leelas. Vichitya bhuyo mitathiva manat. Again and again, they start searching. They do this for some time, then they feel the absence of Krishna and they search for him again. And then they suddenly, while searching for Krishna, they find Radha. That Radha has also been deserted by Krishna, and Krishna has completely disappeared. At least all of these ladies together, they were they had all disappeared. He had disappeared, and all of these girls were together. But Radha, he had deserted her alone in the forest. And while searching, they found Radha. Why did he desert her? After some time, she also felt that she had a pride among these women, that now he has left all of them and he is only with me. That kind of pride arose in Radha. Therefore, he deserted her alone right there and he disappeared. Tadasamanta vipine samantat tamovatara madhimargayantyaha punarvimishra yamuna tatante brisham vile puscha jagur gunamste. They searched everywhere. It became extremely dark and they could search no more. Even the moon is going to set, and therefore it had become completely dark. Then they all gathered together again. They had gone in different direction to search. They just all gathered together again and they sat in one place and started singing about Bhagavan. They lamented intensely. This is the place where in Bhagavatam there is the Gopika Geetam, which is very famous. And all the shlokas, that is the separate lecture by itself in the Gopika Geetam. Here, in a small one shloka, Bhattatri says, Tathavyatha Sankulamanasānām Prajanganānām Karunika Sindho Jagatrayi Mohana Mohanatma Tumpradurasira Imandahasi. Bhattatri just says, Vilepucca Jagurgunamste. All the 20 odd shlokas of Gopika Geetam, he just says it in half a verse that they pined for you. That is what Gopika Geetam, just about pining for Bhagavan. Again and again they talk about Bhagavan, how they wait for him in the evenings, how every moment of his, every movement of his, and every sight of his is so encouraging to them, is a form of elation for them. That is the amount of viraha, that is the amount of earnest desire that they have to be with Bhagavan. Tatha vyatha sankula manasana, they're extremely grief-stricken. That vyatha, that pain that is there in their hearts, seeing this pain in their hearts, you who are the ocean of compassion, Jagatrayi Mohana Mohanatma, your body which can captivate all the three words at a single moment, and it can even captivate Manmatha himself. You just appeared in front of them with a gentle smile, with a charming smile. You appeared in front of them. The same shloka in Bhagavata where he says, Manmatha Manmatha. You are Manmatha among Manmathas. Even for Manmatha, you are Manmatha. So beautiful Krishna is on this particular night. Sandigdha Sandarshana Bhaktma Gantam Tvamvikshyatanvyaha Sahasa Tadanim Kinkinna Chakruh Pramadadi Bharate Satvam Gadat Palayama Rutesha Sandigdha Sandarshanam. So they had become doubtful whether they would see Krishna again on that night. That much doubt had crept into them. And as soon as they saw him right in front of them, Atma Kantam, one who is closest to their heart, Tvam Vikshya, having seen you, Sahasa Tadani, immediately, Kimkinna Chakruhu. What did they not do? They did everything. Pramada Atibharata, with so much respect, with so much love. Sattvam Gadat, oh Krishna, who are like that. Palayama Rudesha, please eradicate all my ailments. So praise Bhattatri to Bhagavan again. So the next here, this Dashakam, though it is not the condensation of Gopika Geetam, this is the Dashakam that is the same meter as Gopika Geetam. So the Gopika Geetam was condensed in about half a verse in the previous Dashakam, but this is the Dashakam where this is the condensation of Adhyaya 32 of Bhagavatam. It is not the Gopika Geetam. But the chandas is the same as the Gopika Geetam. That is Sammata chandas. Tava vilokana Gopika janaha pramada sankula pankaje kshana amrita dharaya sampluta iva stimita tandadhu stvapurogataha. We will see this Dashakam 68 and Dashakam 69 in the next week, and then we will continue forward. So Rasalila continues in the next week also. We will immerse ourselves in the devotion of Gopikas and make our minds more and more pure by reading this again and again. All the great Mahatmas we see, they all have taken this to be the highest ideal of devotion. So you can confirm whether that person is a Mahatma by seeing their views on this Rasalila, by seeing their views on this Mahatmya of Krishna, on this unparalleled glory. Nowhere else, in no other incarnation, this kind of glory was seen. You see Swami Shivananda's lectures, you see Aurobindo's lectures, you see Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you see Vivekananda, you see Ramana Maharshi, all great Mahatmas. I am talking about the recent Mahatmas in the past century. All over so many centuries. The Marathi saints, the Rajput, Meera, the Northern saints, Vallabhacharya, Chaitanya, Nimbarka, Gauranga, all of these people have just fallen at the feet of Gopikas. such is the greatness of the devotion. That is the devotion that we have to elevate ourselves to. May this devotion of the Gopikas give us that Chitta Shuddhi, and may just reading these 5 Dashakas again and again, we may not understand the meaning. It is erotic poetry. Even Krishna, the Gita Govinda of Jagadeva is on the same lines. His inspiration is also from this Rasa Leela. So that poetry, just by reading that poetry, just by reading that Samskrita, even if you do not understand that meaning, that bhava will enter into you. The bhava of the Gopikas will enter into you, and that is the bhava that we should pray for from Sri Krishna. That Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Let us pray to that Bhagavan and let us give him that Chitta Shuddhi. Let him give us that Satchidananda Anubhava. Pray to him. We shall continue this next week. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jaya Jaya Rama Rama Hara Namah Parvati Patage Hara Hara Mahadeva Domamatma Bhavasi Tvameva Tato Navachim Mama Kichindasti Yatha Taveshtam Kuruman Tathivas Tvamatmanam Ramanam Tacha Ram Ram